Every spring, for several thousand years now, these birds have been flying here. Some of them come to rest and feed on the lakes or in the bogs before returning to the tundra. Cranes will use the bogs as a place to flock together and to start wedding singing and dancing. The vast bog of the Yelnya Reserve is a special home for these birds. 9,000 years. This is how old this bog is. One of the oldest and by far the largest one in Belarus. The Yelnya Wetlands Reserve occupies a vast area, over 25,000 hectares. It is one of Europe's largest raised bogs that straddles the borderline between Miore and Charkovshchina districts of Vitebsk Oblast. From above, it looks like a sophisticated mosaic with over 100 lakes and islands scattering across the bogs in an unrivaled, fantastic pattern. This marvelous wetland complex is a genuine bird paradise. Over 100 bird species live here, including 23 species listed in the Red Data Book of Endangered Species of the Republic of Belarus. During their migrations, innumerable flocks of geese and ducks make a stopover at Yelnya, including such endangered species as the lesser white-fronted goose. And the cranes, of course. The local people are particularly looking forward to their arrival. About 50 pairs of grey cranes nest in Yelnya. The Yelnya wetland is an international important bird area, a Ramsar site. In 1968 it was made a National Hydrological Reserve, and now it is a landscape reserve. As the area is a crucial stopover for the migrating birds, all waterfowl hunting is prohibited in the Yelnya Reserve during spring. Restriction of hunting in Yelnya allows wild geese and cranes to rest during migration. Yelnya is also a nesting place for many resident birds, where they can raise their young. It is an early May morning on the marsh. Shiny black feathers sparkle blue. Bright eyebrows are glowing red. The short tails gleam white. The scene looks like some splendid bird spring fair. Everything is bright, noisy, lively. Males of black grouse display. Waders chirp from the nearby shrubs. Black-tailed godwits nest here, as well as wimbrels and European curlews and greenshanks. All of them are extremely rare species in Belarus and are listed in the National Red Data Book. In the sky over Yelnya one can spot birds of prey. Some of them are also very rare, such as small and fast falcon merlins who nest in Yelnya and hunt for passerine birds and dragonflies. If you are lucky, in the twilight you can hear and even see a rare eagle owl. However, birds are not the only ones to be attracted by Yelnya. Photographers are not uncommon here, looking for an opportunity to make a rare shot. Their pictures can tell us about the life of the bog's inhabitants. The willow grouse. Maybe only here of the whole Belarus can you see and hear this bird. The willow grouse used to be widespread across Polessia a century ago. However, only a few bogs in the north of Belarus, including Yelnya, are a refuge for this species today. The males of the yellow wagtail and the citrine wagtail and of the meadow pipit add their ringing voices to the early May choir of birds in Yelnya. Black-throated divers populate the lakes of the reserve, and black storks nest in the woods around the bog. 200 square kilometers of the raised bog is a peculiar and amazing world. The area of Yelnya bog is diverse. A raised bog is not flat like a table. Sphagnum moss grows faster in the center of the bog than on the edges, and the deposits of peat are considerably thicker here. Therefore, 3 hills gradually formed in the middle of the bog of Yelnya, one of which towers above the edge of the bog by 7 meters. The trees on the edge of the reserve are mostly birch, pine and fir, as they exploit the rich types of soil. There are several aspen forests, as well as black and grey alder forest, which are very important for biodiversity conservation. Partially, some rare forest communities are preserved. They are oak, ash and lime woods. Out of all three species, only the silver birch and the common pine survive in the bog. Characteristically, the birch tree grows only at the edge of the bog, where there are nutritious minerals. The pine is a real bog veteran. There is almost no nutrition in the central parts of the bog, but there is an excess of cold water, so the trees grow very slowly. It is only here and in the mountains that the pine grows in the form of bonsai. Evergreen heather-like dwarf shrubs, the sweet gale and the bog rosemary, are quite common on mossy hillocks. Along with those, one can see blossoming cranberries here as well. Cranberry is also an evergreen dwarf shrub. The bog bilberry bush is a bit taller. Here, real gourmets can taste the most delicious bog bilberries and cranberries in the whole Belarus. But the dominant plant in the bog is the sphagnum moss. It forms a continuous carpet which is sometimes very difficult to walk on. It virtually sucks you in. Another peculiar feature about Yelnya wetland is that, unlike with the most raised bogs, precipitation is not its only source of water. The large lakes scattered amidst the wetlands are fed also by groundwater. The largest is Lake Yelnya, occupying an area of 5.5 square kilometers. There, on the forest-covered islands, habitable only a few decades ago, Belarusian guerrillas used to deploy their bases during World War II. Only two species of fish, the pike and the perch, live in the lake water, and the so-called lakelets are only inhabited by insects. Many lakes are quite picturesque. From above, they look like saucers on the tablecloth of green moss. The most beautiful lakes are the ones having peat islets covered with pines. Lake Kurganiste is unparalleled among them in Belarus. It is worth coming here just to see this lake. The numerous pine-covered islets on such lakes are home to many bird species, including the mews, ducks, waders, divers and even falcons. The special tourist path is a boardwalk on the bog, with information displays all along the way. It has been set up within the frameworks of European Union and UNDP project. The path prevents people from trampling moss and causing harm to this fragile world of bog plants and animals. Let's move along it and have a look. Various species of spiders and insects can be seen over mossy hillocks, and some of them live exclusively in the areas of raised bogs and in the tundra. Some rare species were spotted here: the moorland cloudy yellow and Jota arctic. Caterpillars feed on the leaves of bilberries, cranberries, sedges, and in their turn serve as food for birds. It is a place where rare butterfly species are hunted by rare birds and even by rare dragonfly species. Summer. Most birds already have nestlings. Citrine wagtails can be seen flying with insects in their beaks. Windchat's calls are heard. Grey shrikes pull their tails nervously. All of them try to hide their innermost secret, the location of their nests. The reason is clear: the young are still there. The chicks of common cranes and waders leave their nests just a few hours after hatching and follow their parents in search of food. And here is a very peculiar plant, the round-leaved sundew. It is a carnivore. It preys on tiny beetles and flies using its sticky leaves. There are no mosquitoes in the raised bog. And here is a berry which is absolutely unique for Belarus, the cloudberry. It is possible to taste this rare and delicious berry at just a few bogs. It is hard to imagine that not so long ago the bogs were drained as part of the land reclamation program. In the 1960s, 1980s, a large-scale melioration work was waged in Belarus, and as a result, more than half of all marshlands were drained. However, the destruction of bogs in most cases did not bring any expected benefits. Forests did not begin to grow better here. Water in wells disappeared in many places. The peat layer in the new fields was soon exhausted, and many of the drained peat mires were abandoned. The drainage of bogs caused local droughts. late spring frosts, water pollution and peat wildfires. Dried because of drainage, Yelnya bog caught fire several times. As a result of the latest fire in 2002, over 2/3 of the bog massif was damaged. An attempt to restore the hydrological state of the bog was made by the non-governmental organization APB BirdLife Belarus. With support from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Protection of the Republic of Belarus, more than 50 dams have been built within the recent decade. But still it is difficult to undo the damage done to the nation's wetlands. The height of a bog rises by 1 millimeter a year, that is 1 meter per each millennium. Having deprived bogs of water, we deprive trees, herbs, insects, birds and animals of their home. But water is vital, not for wetlands alone, but for the whole nature, including man. People have always lived on and around wetlands. Nothing we do is indifferent for the bog. Anglers, even unintentionally, prevent rare bird species from nesting on lake shores. In autumn, hunters do not leave cranes and geese a chance to rest on the bog before their long journey to wintering sites. And only local people, who have been picking cranberries here for many centuries now, do not cause harm to the surrounding wildlife. This is why these berries still grow in abundance here and are enough for all. Perhaps the most important thing in our relationship with nature is to ensure that natural resources stay sufficient for everyone. Waders, grousers and divers still find nesting places to raise their young, and numerous flocks of geese and cranes stay safe and undisturbed on their way to wintering sites. We have to do our best to ensure that 9,000-year-old Yelnya bog lives on for many more years